Hey, this is Nick from Remedy667.com, the best place on the internet for horror-themed typefaces and fonts. And today is Horror Font Friday, and we have something special today. We've got this nice little piece of type from a press book for the film Bloodsuckers, which is also called Incense of the Dead. I don't know what its alternate name is. I should have pulled up a Wikipedia page in the other window, but we're not worried about that. We're worried about making alphabets. So we've got 2 Shiver and Shudder spine tingling tinglers today. Of course, it's a vampire movie, so it's all kinds of risque. Here, let's go to this scene. Just gonna start by, pulling out the letters that are here, seeing what we have. I really like this T. I actually picked up this. I picked up a couple. I think I may have mentioned this, but I picked up a couple of these press books for this very purpose. And yeah, they're starting to flow in the mail. This one has maybe 3 or 4 really cool pieces of lettering that are all kind of different that I might try and get into. This is the first one only because of the proximity. It's right on the cover of the book, obviously. 2 Shiver and Shudder spine tinglers. Gonna duplicate that just to get it out of the way. Trim that nice and smooth there. UV. There's another E doing the same thing. All right. L. So it looks like this is all of our letters round up now. That we have. So pretty good selection. I like the look of this font. I think it's probably a little more versatile than some pieces of lettering that would be more what I normally do, with all the dripping bloods and whatnots. But this feels like it's a little more useful. And I also kind of like, because it has this kind of waviness to the sides of the characters, but also like a jaggedness. So it's kind of smooth, kind of jagged, it's cool. And I think it's gonna work for us. Just taking a look at these letters up top, seeing what I have duplicates of. I think I'm going to get right in on the O? Maybe the C. All right. So to construct the C today, oops, we're going to take the G and the S. And I duplicated the G, right? Sometimes I don't, and that's sad news bears. I'm going to cut the G right there like that. I'm going to reflect my S, making it a weird looking 3, which probably would fit really nice on my in my ampersand. So this one actually smoothed out really nicely. Top's a little weird. But this bottom didn't really match up as good. We're going to kind of meet in the middle there. Group that. We'll get rid of those two pieces. We're probably not going to need them. I want to smooth out this A. I'm not really sure what is going on with it. I have the original source so I could look at it. Maybe like the paper has a scratch. Maybe there was like a staple there or something at one point. I have this foggy Gatorade flavored water poured into my beard. I think I'm going to let this be my F. I'm going to come back to the B later. It just doesn't feel ready yet. That much better. Probably around there. What do you think? Maybe up a little bit? That feels too high. Let's go down and in. It still feels like it needs to go up. But going up, that feels too high. So I'm just going to drag it a tiny bit, ever so slightly. I still don't like it. But you know what? I think that may be as close as it's going to be for right now. We'll go ahead and make the J. Pretend like we're going in order since we have the U. Slide it over just a little bit. And that looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and group that. Get our R. This is fun. See how we have two R's here that are totally different styles in the leg. Get that P out of the way. Let's take a look at these R's. Look at this. It's like they're not even from the same alphabet. What kind of sick and twisted person designed this original piece of lettering? What I'm going to do is take that R and this R and cut them both like that. And I'm going to take the L and I'm going to take the bottom from this R And the bottom from this R. Thought I was going to say the top, didn't you? And I'm going to reflect this one. Doesn't matter what direction. I mean, I guess it does, but you're saving 4 seconds here or there. I think that is a weird looking K, but I feel like it works. And the only other thing I could think is if it went up a little bit. So, but not that piece, just this piece. So that's a interesting K. I feel like it works better with that R, better than the weird R did. The weird R. We're going to take the D and the C, and that is how we're going to make our O initially. I'm just going to cut that line, cut it right in half. And take the O. I feel like this side I want to put it in. This looks like it's starting to get spicy. Let's go to... Everybody looks like they're dying. They're probably out of blood. And then that weird R, you know, the weird one that's up here is going to come in handy again. I'm going to cut that leg. I'm going to cut there. I'm going to cut it like that and rotate that to this angle. Maybe a little bit more of an angle. And we'll go ahead and group that. And that is our Q. It feels a little too... Let's cut this in. The part on the inside feels really good. The outside one just feels a little too long. So let's go ahead and just shorten that up a bit. I have to sneeze. Sorry. We're gonna make a double V for our W. And I feel like that worked out pretty good. Not even noticeable. Just kidding. We're gonna just ever so slightly make some changes to the inside. Group it and round off this bottom piece. So I'm gonna go the old school way. Let's not forget that we still have to make an M. I think I'm going to make the M with the V and an H. I don't think I do that normally. So it's a real treat for everybody watching. I didn't even really have to do too much to that, huh? And it's a nice wide M, which will make the M dash look really nice. I'm not really sure that it fits, though. I'm not thoroughly convinced. It feels a little too big. Speaking of, the W feels all right. Let's go ahead and try and angle these sides a little bit. I think it's the top. We'll call it a broad-shouldered M. And I think it's that. See on the left side there how wide that is? I think that's what's making the M look so strange. So there's it's still really wide on the left. Now the angle's weird. Forgive me. We're gonna cut right in. Because once I made the outside, once I made the top, oh, that looks so weird. Once I made the tops thinner, the bottom felt too wide. I'm just gonna group that. I think I know what I need to do. I need this one. Yes. I think that's the solution. And then I'll just have to redraw this foot here. Because the curves just felt too unnatural from the rest of the font on there. I've never actually watched this movie before. It seems kind of weird. It on the press book it says that it's Chevron Pictures, like the gas station. So that's kind of interesting. Don't see many gas stations producing films these days. All right, so we're in a pretty good spot. I'm gonna make my Y in the kind of old school way, I guess, where I tilt the V up. Sorry, the camera just did that intense zoom in that you always get in like Lucio Fulci movies, and it just grabbed my attention. It's so good. I would love to see that in like modern movies. I think there was like a Lucio Fulci movie on, might have been one of his, or it could have just been a Giallo movie, but on The Last Drive-In, and they were saying it has gratuitous camera zooms. And that's great. A lot of films could benefit from some gratuitous camera zooms. We are going to reflect this. Group. I'm gonna. Ooh, I meant to go the other way. But I wasn't sure if it looked like it was too heavy on one side already. I was debating when I first started on this journey of making this little typeface from the lettering here, if I should use the K, the two K's together method to make the X, or if I should just shorten the V's. And I decided I'm just going to shorten the V's. We're going to go ahead and add those wonky drips that are in there. Looks like it's actually feels a little tall. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it up just a little, ever so slightly. Oh, look at that. We still got to do the B. All right, so we're going to do the B with the P and the weird R. So this is going to be the bottom of the B. And I'm going to make it a little bit lower, not that low, because this R is getting cut there and cut there. Double cut. Director's cut. And so this P's just got to go back a little bit, not that far. I have to sneeze, so it's weird. Okay, so the reason that feels weird is because that's too far back. All right. Now it can sit a little better on it. I'm going to go out just a little bit and expand that. And I think that feels pretty good. And go ahead and group it. These can actually, thinking about it, I think the Q is the only one that drops in the bass line. So I'm just going to align them on the center, which feels really weird to do. I've done it before, but it has been years that I've done that, and I used a usable typeface. Because now I just size them all on. This one's too small. I thought that guy was laying in a pile of blood, but he's laying on some fur. And I think this vampire person's about to kill him because the music's getting like that. I don't know if you can hear it or not. I had to start turning it down because I had a couple videos that I made and YouTube flagged them because the commercials, because the sound was too loud, and the commercial would come in playing like, I don't know, some funky pop music or something, and I'm not even paying attention and I could barely hear it, but the microphone picked it up because it's on right next to the speaker, and then YouTube was like, hey, you know you can't be putting Cranberry songs in your video. Did you see what happened to the Q? I think that vampire girl died. See, I told you that Q was too big, and these two are too short. And so's the Y. All right, so let's just take a look once over. And that is our alphabet. Now, since we have a 2 and we've only been at it for 25 minutes, let's go ahead and do some numbers, right? I mean, come on. And this 2 is not a 2 that I would typically make when I make numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and do the trick that I was talking about last week. My newest composite font trick. Going to font self here. I did do that. All right, we're going to call this font new font. Perfect. Spine Tinglers. I like that. And then we'll kind of remember what it's from. So, do you remember the trick? Is you're going to want to draw a black box like that. And go ahead and select your alphabet. We're doing capitals A to Z. And then we're going to grab this as a batch character. Did the screen flicker there for a second? Sorry, I'm off screen. I got to do something off screen real quick. This. All right, so that is our Apple symbol, which is actually our logo symbol. We're going to smart space and kern this. Said 25. I think that looks good. All right, so let's go back home. We said we were going to call this Spine Tinglers. And you notice I called it DS Spine Tinglers because that was something I did a while ago, was just naming things with the DS. It also makes it really easy to find them when you're typing. Whoa, that's huge. What font is... Oh. So I hit DS, and you see there's a bunch of DS fonts in here. Spine Tinglers is the one we are currently looking at. Holy crap, look at how big that is at 420 point type. We're looking for something much smaller. So I can just stick it right on the baseline and go ahead and start raising it up. 59. Oh, 59 is a little too far. I'm going to say 58.4. That still feels a little too tall. 58.3. Oh, 58.35. That feels good. All right, so 58.35 is our font size for this. All right. All right, I've locked my guides because they were driving me a little crazy. I'm going to outline this and then ungroup it. Make my O. I'm just going to shrink it in ever so slightly. Looks like it loses quite a bit of its shape with that. But, you know, you'll live and learn. I think it'll probably be fine. I want this to actually go a little harder than it is because I want it to feel not too wide at the top, like that same problem we were having with the M. I want the one to feel a little bit more natural. Hey! Sorry, I had to look at reflect on the other screen and make sure that it was fitting properly. All right, stop everything. Let's see how their 2 compares to my 2. Completely different beasts. Like the R's, huh? They got more of an angle. Delete. Nothing against their 2. I like that too. I just think I'll probably end up using it for the stylistic alternate instead of this one for the stylistic alternate. Whoops, delete. Gonna do this in a destructive way here for the 3. Get that shape and then just go ahead and smooth it right on. Uh oh, the music's getting weird again. Like werewolf weird. You hear that? Woo! I'm gonna lower the... I know I don't normally... Usually I just go for it with the 4, but that time it just felt really good, like I should be lowering it a bit. 5 is gonna go up a little bit. This is gonna cut off right there and go like that. People are mad on this movie. They are upset about the blood.
Bob Kirby rang me and said it was vital I come to Oxford immediately. There were signs that Richard was beginning to crack again.
Group, that 6 looks really nice. Gonna pull that 7 out a little bit. I probably, if I hadn't put it to if I hadn't done it in this program, sorry, let me stop doing that. If I hadn't run it through FontSelf and it would have still had the separate components, I probably would have pulled the top out a little bit. So that's kind of why I did that, just in case anybody's wondering. I don't know. I feel like I do things like that kind of often. I don't really talk much about what I'm doing often. Maybe I do. Maybe I talk too much. Maybe I don't. Reflect. Yes. This 9's going to feel condensed at the top, I feel like. But if I can group that, push that off to the side. All of you. And then we'll just tidy this up a bit. Nice. Just kidding. Doesn't need to be tidied. Just needs unlocked so we can make the numbers. Make with the numbers. Smart with the kerning. Sometimes I'll go turn this kerning off because it doesn't work, but I feel like with this font it might. I don't know. Save it. Save it. Replace it. Save it. Yep. And in proper old school fashion, copy that. We're going to go up, up, up to the corner. I don't actually have a picture of the Spine Tinglers thing yet because I need some natural light. I was only able to scan a part of it. I went to try and scan it. My scanner was unplugged. I had to get behind some stuff. So I had to take a bunch of stuff apart. And that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Putting it back together. So, Whispering Mummy, that's not what this is. This is something different and new. But we're still going to break it at the R. And I'm going to duplicate it just in case that's a bad split area. Group. J group. I group. Put them all together. And what do you got? I don't know either. I didn't even break it at the right place. I can't even think. There it is. Group that, group that. Let's do this again.
Let us beware of those who seek to possess our bodies and our minds. For the academic world dehumanizes us, and we become its natural dependents. Love me, says the academic, and do exactly as I tell you.
Spine Tingler. Tab.
The outsiders are labeled then the collective enemy. The reds, the blacks, the whites.
And there you go. That's this week's horror font. Join us next week for another one. Maybe I'll do it from the same flyer. Maybe I won't. I think in the meantime, I'm going to try and work on some other in-between characters and see if I can't get some stuff ready for release pretty soon. I have a bunch that I drew last week, the week before. I have to draw alternates for them, and then I'll have to do some title cards, but I've been thinking about it, and I think I'm going to do some kind of quick and dirty title cards that probably won't have posters. I've been doing it without posters for a while. I don't know if that's beneficial or not, but maybe I'll do a poster. But either way, I'm going to try and get some videos of that part of the process. And hey, thanks for hanging out with me on Horror Font Friday. I don't know. I hope you had an awesome day. And I will talk to you next week. Stay cool.